Hey guys, it's Mitch. How's it going? We're going to take a look today at Nomad #1 by an artist that I don't think very many people would know. This is by S. Clark Hawbaker, and he's pretty damn good. So just before we get into it, if you enjoy the channel, if you feel like you might want to help out a little bit, go subscribe to my Patreon. Links are in the description, gives you early access to everything I do, helps out the channel, helps to buy new comics. So this is one of those comics that I'd heard of, but had never actually read. I've never read a single Nomad comic before this. The only awareness I had of Nomad was through the Marvel Series 1 trading cards, because he was listed as a rookie. And that meant that probably his first appearance was going to be worth something, right? Him and Fool Killer and Sleepwalker and Darkhawk, all those guys, they're going to be huge in the Marvel Universe. So the Nomad character, from what I understand, started out as an alter ego for Captain America when sometime in the 70s he wanted to stop being Captain America for a while. The character here, this is obviously not Captain America. This is Jack Monroe, who was originally a Bucky. One of the many Buckies, apparently. I wasn't aware there was more than one Bucky. Got cryogenically frozen, along with Steve. This is not original Bucky. And got woken up and, was offered to be Bucky again. And he's like, no, that shit's too tired for me. I'll take this old alter ego of yours that you don't use anymore, and I'll be Nomad now. And, he was like Cap's partner and everything. And then this is after he struck out on his own and decided to style himself after John Bon Jovi. This isn't his first series. The first one would have been a 4-issue miniseries a couple of years before this, where he establishes himself as more of a vigilante type. He also gets a little baby sidekick, which I didn't read it close enough, but it seemed an awful lot like he stole off a prostitute. The description had it where like he rescued the baby from somebody else and just didn't give her back to the mother, who was a prostitute, held on to her, and then I guess the mom abandoned the baby or something in canon. It didn't seem like that, but that's what the write-up says anyway. So now we've got the gritty long hair wanderer vigilante with the baby strapped to his back because lone wolf and cub is cool. So, you might as well just get into this. The character itself isn't the most interesting. It's really mostly about the art in this for me. So we're going to start with the cover. I can't really complain about that. Those are some kind of awesome shots of Nomad here. Like I said, this is drawn by S. Clark Hawbaker. The only thing I've known of his previously was covers he did for The Protectors, which were also surprisingly good. I know he also got some Marvel Comics Presents work in there, and I don't know that he got much else, really. Seems to me he's the kind of guy who he can't get a book done on time. He spends too long on a page, which I get, but there's guys like that who became like fucking superstars. And I don't know, maybe he just realized that like it was taking too much time to get comics done, and just taking too long for him to make a name for himself, so he just kind of poured his efforts into something that he could get a better paycheck, build himself up quicker in some other industry. That's just a guess, but it seems likely. But yeah, great figure here. That's a damn good face. It's so good that he reused it from inside the book somewhere. These actually have a feeling of like combined sketches. Like the shot under here where he's holding the shotgun, that seems like a really devoted kind of sketch. Same with the shot here of Nomad in the front. And this is going to be in Seattle, which is important somehow. And yeah, there's the baby. That's Bucky. Yeah, damn good cover design. And we're going to get a very odd fold-out cover that seems completely inconsequential. Where it's just like where Nomad has gone before. So I guess these are encounters he's had where he went up against a wolf somewhere in BC. That must have happened. There's the bit in not quite Alaska. I guess this is more, maybe that is Alaska. It's right on the edge, where he had to fight Captain America. There's a bit in Minnesota, I guess, where he picked up the baby. There's somewhere in Illinois where he fought Viper. He fought her in Illinois. Okay. He met the Punisher in Las Vegas, and he met, what's his fucking name? Taskmaster. That's it. Shit, somebody's going to kill me if I forget who Taskmaster is. In New York, I guess. And yeah, just like, okay, so these are all the places that Nomad has shown up. In case you needed to, like, just kind of lock in a location in your brain, it does kind of drive home the Nomad thing, I suppose, where he doesn't stick to one location. And the inside front cover is a wanted poster for Jack Monroe. Again, it's a cool shot. More of a sketchbook shot. Pretty solid. I'm not sure why we need that, but okay, I guess. Okay, so we're going to start things off at a gas station because Nomad is wandering. Big surprise. And he's going in to pick up some diapers. this is what our superhero guy does. And naturally, because a superhero is in a gas station, that gas station must be robbed. This is like Newtonian cause and effect type shit. And it's a decent shot here, with the, bit of a Dutch angle. It's a strange decision to cover up the guy with all these panels. Also a strange decision to put the domino mask on Bucky. That seems unnecessary. Like, it's not like you got to worry about her getting identified. Like, babies all look the fucking same. Okay, so yeah, they're just robbers telling the teller to hand over the money. Teller instead decides to shoot one of them, and then Nomad swings in and drop kicks the clerk, as far as I can tell. And then he takes a moment to put his sunglasses on so that S. Clark Hawbaker can use that sketchbook shot of him again. And, everything looks good. Like that, that's a pretty damn good face. Again, with covering up Nomad with other panels, though. This is almost starting to feel like it's on purpose. But, fine dropkick, I guess. A little bit confusing about who's who. Really, like, I assume this is the clerk just because he's dropping the gun that seems to have fired there. So he throws a bunch of diapers at the robbers, which get shot and then explode, and causing, I suppose, like a distraction, like a chaff kind of situation. I don't think that's how diapers work, but the hell with it. I mean, Nomad goes in and just keeps kicking people. He doesn't seem to have his own gun. Maybe he should grab one of their guns. And leaves with only just one robber left. Bit of a moment here where he finds a Captain America comic, which kind of bugs him, I suppose. I guess that'd be a little bit like your ex being in People magazine or something. Fun looking poses. Again, a little bit confusing to tell what's going on sometimes. Why are there diapers raining? Even if you shot, I'm pretty sure if you shoot a bag of diapers, it just kind of makes a hole in a bag of diapers. So he catches up with the last robber, I guess kicks him out through the glass. From what I can tell, he steals the diapers he was looking for, as well as some Mountain Dew, and then goes wandering off grimly into the night. So yeah, that's the introduction of our guy. I guess we did find out a little bit about him with the baby and everything, if we didn't already know. Didn't kill anybody. Could have, I suppose. He's done it before in the Nomad miniseries. So maybe he's exercising restraint. And from there, we're going to cut to Seattle. It's a nice shot of Seattle, really. Again, cutting off stuff with other panels. Weird decision. You could just put an eagle up here if you wanted to. But S. Clark Hawbaker seems to like drawing eagles. I think he did that on the Protectors as well. And he seems to like cutting things off with panels. So we're sitting in on a sparring session where it looks like one dude is defending himself against multiple other dudes. And, it's nice looking stuff. It's a little confusing when he's breaking panel borders all over the place here. Just a little bit of a fight sequence. Kind of some Frank Miller fighting down here. Very tiny panel with an elbow to the nose. All very nice looking stuff. Has kind of a Master of Kung Fu vibe. Maybe a bit more Gene Day than Paul Gulacy, given all the tiny panels. And he stops short of striking this guy in the face. And it seems like he's done this as it's actually a little bit difficult to figure out exactly what he's doing in this place. I don't think he's training. I don't think he's got anybody to teach him anything. I think he just went to this guy's dojo and got them all to attack him. And he equates this as repaying a favor, where he did something for Eyebrows over here years ago. So now he's shown up on his door and goes, everybody attack me and then we'll be even. Which is a little senseless to me. And I think it's meant to be a little senseless, really, because it confuses the hell out of Eyebrows here. But this is kind of our villain in this issue, and this is his gimmick, which that he's very much about, not exactly eye for an eye, just, the exchange of markers. If I do something for you, then you do something for me, and then we're even. They don't have to equal each other. It's a very specific kind of gimmick to have, which makes me wonder what his code name is. Because it's probably something that means pretty much exactly that, right? Where just Fabian Nicieza had this word rolling around in his head, and he's just like, I should base a guy off of that. So after the workout, he calls up this woman here. This is Miss Justin. Introduces himself as Guicard Epure, which is, okay, sure. And basically, he's calling it a favor that she owes him. So this is like his whole deal. Is just, I spend all of my time either doing favors for somebody or calling in favors. Again, nice looking stuff, going with a lot of black backgrounds. Maybe as a time-saving thing. And a little bit tough on the hands. Tough angle. You didn't have to draw that. I wonder if he's doing his inking too, because there's some very thick lines going on here. No, Mark McKenna doing the inking. Okay. Odd little thing here where Nomad rolls into a town and answers a want ad for a handyman. Just kind of reinforcing the Nomad theme, I suppose. Nice drawing of the girl here. You know, I'm starting to get a little bit of a feeling of that kind of Adam Hughes, Mark Beecham kind of guy, where he might take some opportunities to just, you know, draw some sexy ladies in there. Not to the same kind of degree as those guys, but the whole thing where they just, you know, they can't be scheduled properly, and they're just going to take their opportunities where they find them. So a short time later, Nomad answers the phone because that Miss Justine lady calls him. Apparently, she's going to try and pass off her debt that she owes to Guicard, Carbonneau, whatever, to just whoever says they're available, really. And we find out, yeah, that the thing that Carbonero wanted her to do is go into her work and acquire some information illegally. And that's kind of where this ends. We're kind of all over the place. There hasn't really been much in the way of a story just yet. Some nice artwork, though. I mean, you know, again, with more eagles flying around the Space Needle there. And from there, we're going to cut to Washington, where Peter Gyrich is interviewing some woman who has some experience with Nomad. And this is basically just finding out that Peter Gyrich has some interest in the character. I was like, okay, I guess we got to set up something for this series. Trying to do a little bit of time passing in the panels here with the cigarettes slowly burning down. I guess that's all right. It's a little unnecessary. I mean, this isn't exactly ticking clock kind of stuff. And this is where we're going to get the whole history of Jack Monroe as first Bucky, then as a popsicle, then first version of Nomad where he had the cape and the costume and a whole thing, and now Bon Jovi Nomad. So yeah, Gyrich is just investigating him because he's becoming more and more like a Punisher-type vigilante, whereas this woman is kind of advocating a little bit for Nomad. Just, no, it's not like what it seems. Yes, he's becoming more violent, but it's a justified kind of violence. Yeah, great looking shots. I like the whole 2-page composition here. Nice shadowing on the woman here, and, you know, Gyrich as well. So now we got to cut to Nomad sneaking into this building for this woman who's hired him. And he does the whole, he's got a batarang kind of thing. He does the Moon Knight pose, swinging in. I assume that's an intentional reference, because, I mean, you don't do that pose if you're not referencing Sienkiewicz. Got the baby on him the whole time. The baby doesn't do anything. So I don't understand what the purpose of it is, other than just to show that he's got to give him like a quirk that sets him apart from other superheroes. And I guess he's got like a kind of a caring side or something. But there was no reason to give the guy the baby in the first place, like maybe as a short-term thing. But then, you know, you give it back to the mother, or you find a home for it. Like, I don't know if you've got like story ideas set up around this baby, but it's just kind of weird that he's going to constantly be jumping into battle with a baby on his back. Like, for instance, here, where he does get into the office and gets confronted by somebody who's completely silhouetted, takes a shot at them, and they go over the side as far as he can tell. And this is all nice looking stuff, like nice page design on this. Still covering up Nomad, but he's also silhouetted him, and, you know, you don't really need to see too much to know that this is obviously Nomad. But yeah, that is a weird kind of peculiarity of this guy's style. So the silhouette, even though he went over the side, I guess he hung on and then just swung back up and kicked Nomad in the face. And he drops the baby, because that's what's going to happen if you go into a fight with a fucking baby. And the silhouette catches him. So this is Empire again. It's kind of an awkward name to actually decide on, which made me decide to look it up. It means purify. So that's not a good enough reason to name a guy that. Like, I'm pretty sure you can't call him Purifier. I don't know if there is somebody named that. It feels like there would be. But with guys like Fool Killer, he'd be kind of classed in that kind of category. And I get the impression he's not really meant to be that sort of character. Purify doesn't seem to have anything to do with this guy, like the word purify. So I don't know what the deal is. Anyway, he yells at Nomad for bringing a baby in. And rightly so, I think. Nice shot of him standing there, billowing in the wind. Interestingly enough, his robe, part of his robe, crosses over the panel border, but not his leg or the outside of the robe. I think I've made that decision before, too. It's fun when you do that. It doesn't make any kind of sense, but it is fun. So Nomad, I guess, probably mispronounces his name and calls him Giscard Apurer, and he has to correct him with the phonetic pronunciation so that we know how to say the name, because, you know, it's a pretty awkward fucking name to begin with. So it is Giscard Apurer. which I'm sure, man, it still doesn't make it a good name. So now they're going to have a little bit of a confrontation where Empire is faster and more skilled than Nomad, but Nomad has more strength. I guess he's got kind of a super soldier thing going on. And he explains himself as being hired by that woman who Empure was blackmailing to stop Empure from blackmailing her. So I mixed up the story a little bit because the deal now is that Empure is going to hire Nomad to steal that information instead of the woman. And the whole thing with the woman was some kind of ruse to get Nomad into this office so that Empure could make the offer. Like, it's really needlessly convoluted. But Warlord makes an appearance. So as just like I guess like a bust. Because it's not mentioned at all. He's just Warlord sitting in the corner here. So Nomad's going to do this because this is still getting that woman out of owing a favor to Empure. So Nomad's going to leave the baby with him while he goes and does the espionage, whatever he's doing. We love breaking our panel borders with the baby, with Nomad here leaping into action to break in and do some corporate espionage. That's action-packed stuff. So Nomad is going to pole vault into the installation wherever he's trying to get to. Odd decision to just show him holding like a bamboo stick and have that thing cross over like 5 different panels and not relate to any of them. Like, go for it, I guess. Gets the documents, but isn't able to do it without getting detected by the security guys. But it doesn't matter because he comes up behind the security guys and knocks their heads together. Always fun. And then gets back to Empure's place. And that's where the woman's at, so maybe she was a bit more in on it than she seemed to be. But they're still willing to hand over the check to Nomad. Some nice shots going on, particularly this one here. This looks like another sketchbook shot that he incorporated into the book. So Nomad's pissed that he got used, but he did get more money for diapers that he can shoot. So that's all to the good. So now these two are acquainted. So when they meet in future, it'll have been established. That seems to be most of the point of this comic. And Empure tells Nomad that he's aware of everything he was doing up in Alaska, where he killed a whole bunch of people, actually. And he says, don't worry, I won't tell the police or the FBI or my friends on the commission. And now you owe me, and I'm going to collect on that shit. And Nomad wanders off into the night and, has a little inner dialogue where he calls him, hey, poo-poo. So making him not particularly menacing or anything. I mean, I did that in my comic too, where I had a character who had the potential to be like a pretty decent bad guy, and then I had the characters on my team come up with a silly nickname for him, and that diminished the character, but I was okay with that, because, I mean, my comic is silly. This one is a little silly too, but I don't know how intentionally so. So yeah, that's it for Nomad number 1. It's, basically just what if John Bon Jovi was a vagrant with a baby, and he went around and did Kung Fu The Legend Continues kind of shit. It's a very specific scenario, but let's face it, the watcher's seen weirder. Kind of a very unnecessary comic, it feels like. I don't know if it got any more interesting than this. I kind of doubt it with Fabian Nicieza on the reins, but I mean, I think most people at this time are okay with Fabian Nicieza. Like, he's mostly competent, he's just not particularly imaginative. He's a little bit like an Eric Stevenson, if Eric Stevenson had a better ear for dialogue. Fills up all those text boxes, but at least it sounds a little bit more like people talking to each other and not whatever the hell is going through Eric Stevenson's head. Art-wise, it's some fun stuff. There's definitely some good drawings, and I would have liked to have seen more from him, like different kinds of comics to see, I don't know, like what he would do with, like, I don't know, a horror comic or a crime comic. I think he might do okay with a crime comic. It seems weird to me that all I've seen S. Clark Hobbaker draw is like superhero comics. Not too many at that, but, that's how it goes. Just good artist with a couple of really weird quirks to his style. It's interesting to see. I wonder if he's on Instagram. I'd like to see what he's drawing these days. Good at single images, decent cover guy, bad at storytelling, as far as I can tell. Likes to make a lot of weird decisions and, cover up his figures. I like that he takes chances with compositions. It doesn't usually work, from what I can tell, when he does take those chances. And from what I can tell, S. Clark Hobbaker would do another issue of this, issue 3. I'm guessing he couldn't finish issue 2 in time, so they just put him on the next one that he could do. And then after that, he's just the cover guy, I guess because he just can't keep up. And I mean, I can imagine it would be tough to get by when all you're doing is a cover or two every month. So probably moved on to greener pastures. So anyway, that is going to do it for Nomad number 1. I don't think I'm going to hit any more, but it was an interesting one at least to take a look at. But that's going to do it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notification so you know when the next one's coming out. Go over and subscribe on my Patreon. It gives you early access to everything I do, from the Blood Force stuff to the YouTube videos before they get uploaded to YouTube, as well as some Patreon exclusive content. You can also follow me on Instagram and DM me there for commissions, and you can join the Blood Force Discord server. But yeah, that's going to do it. Thanks again for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.